So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are keeping safe in these difficult times. I hope everything's going well. Let's move on to a big fight on Saturday night between Mr. AJ Anthony Joshua and Kubrat Pulev. A lot of people are wanting my opinion on this fight and what I think is going to happen. This may be a catchy title. But I think I'm on the same page as a lot of people. However, I wouldn't be shocked. The only difference is that I've got my opinion, and my opinion is, and I'm going to get it out there straight away, I wouldn't be shocked if Kubrat Pulev stops Anthony Joshua. I know Pulev's not a big puncher, but it wouldn't shock me. Of what we've seen of AJ of late with the Ruiz loss and the rematch that he had with Ruiz, it wouldn't shock me if Pulev knocks out Anthony Joshua. However, I expect Anthony Joshua to win by knockout. So a lot of people are going to be like, what do you mean by that? If Pulev wins the fight by a stoppage or by knockout, it wouldn't shock me. Because one thing I've seen with Anthony Joshua, although he's got great physical attributes, although he's a great fighter and he's got great skill and talent and ability, yes, we get that. We've all seen that. However, he has vulnerabilities. And for me, those vulnerabilities are that he definitely, when he gets dragged into a fight, when the fight gets tough, when the other guy's able to take his shots and they're both going back and forth, Joshua's stamina is an issue. It definitely is a problem, and he definitely does start gassing when the other guy's putting pressure and he's not able to get the guy out of there. We saw that in the Takam fight. We saw that in the Klitschko fight. We saw that in the Ruiz fight. We saw that in the Dillian White fight. His stamina, when the other guy is able to absorb his punches and make it a fight, we know that Joshua's stamina is definitely iffy, right? The other thing is that one thing we know about Joshua, if he gets caught right, he does go over. And it's not the fact for me that he goes over, because any heavyweight, as big as these guys are, can go over. It's the way his body reacts to taking a punch. Like, if you look at Fury and he goes down, but the difference is Fury recovers a lot quicker and he recovers well. Joshua it seems to me like he almost falls apart. Like, his body turns into jelly. He doesn't have control over his body. His body doesn't react well to taking a big punch. Whereas someone like Fury recovers very quickly and instantly. And that's obviously a big, big problem, because he's going to get caught. He doesn't have the greatest head movement in the world, and he does get caught. And he will get caught. And that is a problem when your body reacts like that. And it seems like, every fight that I've seen him get hurt, his body has reacted the same way. His body, it just feels like, when I watch him, it feels like he's not able to control his body when he gets hurt. He just body's all over the place. His legs turn into jelly, his body becomes stiff. And that's obviously a big, big problem. However, he has a lot of positives from an offensive side. When you look at it from offensively, he puts great combination punches together. He's powerful. He's fast. He's got good ring IQ. I think it's improving. I don't think he's complete, but I do think it's improving. And he's a great fighter. There's no doubt about it. But there are vulnerabilities there, and that's why I wouldn't be shocked if Kubrat Pulev wins by stoppage. It wouldn't shock me. However, I do think AJ will knock Pulev out. I think Pulev's old. I don't think Pulev's the fighter he was. I think AJ's improving. Obviously, after the Andy Ruiz, he's hungry. He knows how dangerous these challengers and contenders are. He's hungry. AJ wants that Fury fight. He knows what's at stake. He knows if he loses, the Fury fight goes down the pan. So there's a lot at stake for Joshua. And I don't feel Joshua against this guy is going to blow it away personally. I think there's a lot for Joshua to prove. I think a lot of people would love to see him lose. Every time Joshua goes in the ring, there's a lot of people that want to see Joshua lose. Of course there is. We all know that. We know that Joshua's one of the biggest stars in world boxing right now. Definitely from a financial point of view, he's up there. I don't think he's quite as big as what Eddie makes him out to be. Like, he's the biggest star in boxing. I think that's Canelo by quite a bit, if I'm honest with you. Because for me, the biggest star in world boxing is not just the fact that, you can sell, which we know Canelo can do. It's how good a fighter you are. And for me, Joshua's not even in the top 10 pound for pound. Canelo's number one, but Joshua isn't even in the top 10. Majority of people won't even have him in the top 10. So I think if Joshua can beat Tyson Fury, then obviously that may change. But, that's a big if. I think the fight that we all want to see is Joshua v Tyson Fury. I think that's the fight the whole of world boxing wants to see. I would also like to see Joshua against Deontay Wilder. I think that's a great fight. I think people are writing off Deontay Wilder. People pooing on him after he's lost against Tyson Fury. But I don't think Deontay Wilder's done yet. I still think the Joshua and fight with Wilder is a 50-50. I do. I think it's a great fight. I think it's stylistically a great fight. I really think there's a lot of big fights out there still for AJ. I would like to see AJ. Listen, I don't think the Fury fight will happen next. I think for that fight to be an undisputed fight, I feel that Joshua's going to have to fight Alexander Usyk. And I don't know whether if the Fury fight can be made next, that Joshua's gonna fight Usyk, because I think that fight's too dangerous. It's too risky. I don't care what anybody says about Usyk being too small. Usyk hasn't got the power. Believe me, Joshua and his team knows how dangerous that fight is. Forget about what the public think. Joshua knows how dangerous that fight is. And I don't feel Joshua's going to go in there with Alexander Usyk unless Fury has no choice to fight Deontay Wilder. I think if Fury has no choice but to fight Deontay Wilder, then I think Joshua will fight Usyk, because I think Joshua will have no choice. He'll have to defend his mandatory against Alexander Usyk. And that, for me, is not a great fight if Joshua wants to fight Tyson Fury. Because I don't... If I'm honest with you, I think that's a clear 50-50 fight between Joshua and Usyk. I do think that's a 50-50 fight. I do. I think Usyk is by far the better boxer. Yeah, he's not the bigger guy. He's not the bigger puncher. But he's more skilled. He's more educated. He's got the better feet. He's got the better hands. He's got the better ring IQ. The only thing Joshua's got is power and size. I think everything else Usyk has in abundance, and the physical advantages, of course, which Joshua has. Apart from that, I think Usyk has everything. I think he has the boxing brain. I think he has the quicker feet. I think he has the quicker hands. I think he has the better, like I said, the better boxing brain. So for me, I think that fight is a very, very risky fight if the Fury fight can't come next. Listen, I personally, if you were to put a gun to my head, I think Usyk may beat Joshua. And I think Fury I would favor against Joshua. But again, Joshua against Usyk, for me, that's a 50-50 fight. But I think the Fury fight, I favor Fury to win that. I don't look at that as a 50-50 fight, if I'm totally honest with you. I think Fury's, for me, is the best heavyweight in the world. And people may say Fury's resume is not that great. He's only beat Wilder and Klitschko. But I still think Fury, I think he's got a lot more to his... I think he's got a lot more in the toolbox. People say that about Crawford Spence. But a lot of people... Listen, even though I favor Spence in that fight, a lot of people think Crawford's going to beat Spence. Just because Crawford's got a lot more tools in the toolbox. And I feel the same way about Joshua Fury. I think Fury's got a lot more tools in the toolbox than Anthony Joshua. And I'm just giving my honest opinion. I'm not a fanboy of either fighter. Joshua or Fury. I like both guys. I think both guys are great fighters. I'm just giving you my honest opinion on who I think would win. On my honest opinion on who I think would come out on top if they fought. I think I was really impressed with the way Fury beat Wilder the second time. The first time he fought, on the back foot, trying to avoid Wilder. But the second time, the way he just dismissed Wilder and battered him and took him out, I was just so impressed. And then what he did against Klitschko. And a lot of people go on about Fury's resume. Like, no disrespect to who Joshua's fought, but who of those guys would would beat Fury? I don't see it. So yeah, guys, I would favor Fury if he fought Joshua. But in terms of this fight between Pulev and Joshua, I think in the second fight with Ruiz, there was when Ruiz got close to Joshua, there was a few sticky moments for Joshua. However, Joshua, I think Joshua did great after coming out after such a devastating loss to box the way he did and win the fight. It was impressive. However, whenever Ruiz got close, I felt like Joshua didn't seem the same. He was apprehensive. He was trying to get Ruiz off of him and try to get at a distance. But Ruiz was so badly out of shape that he couldn't take advantage of that. Pulev is a guy that I feel lives a life. He's a good fighter. I don't think he's as explosive as Ruiz. Like, Ruiz is quick and fast, and Pulev isn't that. But Pulev has got a great jab, and he has got a good right hand. And if he can land that, right, it may be a tough night for Joshua. It could. I don't think this is going to be as easy as what people make it out to be, because Pulev can fight. Pulev can really fight. And again, since the Joshua loss, you know, we saw Joshua go 12 rounds with Ruiz, outbox him, yes, but it was a very tentative and very apprehensive performance, a nervous kind of performance. It wasn't the old Joshua. And since then, we haven't really seen him. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think this is going to be an easy fight like what people make out to be, just because I think Pulev is going to bring it. I think Pulev is going to make it tough. Pulev isn't going to just roll over. Pulev can fight. However, I do favor Joshua. I do think Joshua will show another side in the fight, and I think he will show maybe the old Joshua. But again, there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of question marks, because there are holes in Joshua's game. We have seen him hurt several times. We have seen him, you know, get tired several times. So this is not no easy fight. I know Pulev is getting on in age, but this is not easy fight for Anthony Joshua. No, by no means. By no means. If you think, you know, Pulev is just going to roll over, I don't see it. I don't see that happening. I think Pulev is going to come and bring it, and he's going to make it a very tough fight for Joshua. This is by no means an easy fight. You know, and I feel like if you want to underestimate Pulev, and like I said at the start of the video, I wouldn't be shocked if Pulev wins. But I expect AJ to win. I do expect AJ to knock out Pulev. I wouldn't be shocked if Pulev stops Joshua, but I expect Joshua to stop him, if I'm honest with you. You know, it's one of them. It's one of them. I wouldn't be shocked if AJ gets knocked out, but I would expect him to get the job done. But again, Pulev is dangerous. He is dangerous, and I think Pulev will bring it. I think Pulev will make it tough, but I think AJ may have, I think his youth, the hunger that AJ has, I think maybe too much for Pulev at this stage in Pulev's career. But again, you never know. It's heavyweight boxing. One punch can change everything, as we've seen many times before. Many times before. You know, Joshua was having his own way against Dillian Whyte. One left hook changed the whole game. You know, same thing with Andy Ruiz. Joshua was having his own way, and Andy Ruiz, one punch changed the whole thing. Same thing with Vladimir Klitschko. It looked like Joshua was going on to win, and then, you know, Joshua in the 5th round kind of tried to put it on Klitschko, couldn't get Klitschko out of there, and Klitschko almost got Joshua out of there in that same round. And in the next round, you know, Klitschko had him out, put Joshua down, and it just looked like the fight was going to finish and it was over. Joshua was going to lose, and Joshua came back. Heavyweight boxing, you just don't know what's going to happen. But I do think I'm really intrigued to see how Joshua gets on. I want to see how Joshua looks, because it is intriguing after a Ruiz fight. We haven't seen him. You know, it's a year out the ring, and we're going to find out whether Joshua is the old Joshua or Joshua's more tentative, more apprehensive. We're going to find out a lot. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.